Welcome everyone to the first ever GMC Canyon AT4. We've seen the Sierra AT4, but now we have it on this Canyon for 2021 with some other updates. In this video, I'm going to show you everything on the outside, check out the inside, the cargo bed, and we're going to take it for a test drive. I can't wait to show it to you. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right, y'all, so taking a look at the exterior details on this 2021 GMC Canyon AT4, the AT4 actually replaces the all-terrain model, but we also added the elevation trim, so the trim levels are restructured a little bit. And if you're new, I do full reviews and night reviews with a lot of detail, so be sure to subscribe and click the like button if you like the video. Now, starting right up front, let's take a look at these headlights. So you actually get halogen projector headlights. Those are halogen bulbs in there. You've got LED daytime running lights, incandescent turn signal. You actually get LED fog lights on this model. I think the daytime running lights look nice. You know, it's definitely Sierra-esque. And then you've got this unique restyled grille for this 2021 model. Plus the AT4 gives us those red recovery hooks down at the bottom. Speaking of the headlights, the low beams are pretty dim and narrow. They have decent distance, but they get a really poor rating from the IIHS. And this particular color that you see here is the Cayenne Red Tint Coat. It's a $645 option. What do you think? I think with the AT4 it looks good because we kind of have the darker accents, the bigger wheels. But what do you think? And I actually meant to say bigger tires. We have bigger tires here. We actually get 17-inch wheels, which is good to see for an off-road variant, and these are 31-inch tires. So those are pretty knobby Duratrack tires. You've got the AT4 badge right there, and you've got some pretty big fender flares and kind of wide body here for a little truck. This AT4 Canyon gives us black mirrors, black door handles, black window moldings, so you've kind of got some darker accents on here. And we have the crew cab model. You can get an extended cab if you want, but most of them will come in crew cab with the short box, but you can still actually get a long box. So be sure to smash that like button for the ability to get a long box. The Canyon comes with a fully boxed frame just like it used to, and four-wheel drive is standard on the AT4, and that gives us a transfer case shield underneath. We've got the 3.42 rear axle that gives us an automatic locking differential and an off-road suspension setup. And as we come around to the back here, we've got just regular incandescent taillights. They kind of have a unique like chrome piece design. It'd be kind of nice if they blacked that out a little bit or smoked it, just to give this AT4 something a little bit different with that. But just to give you a look, definitely incandescent, cheap looking signals, but those are also really cheap to replace. V6 and AT4 badge, and you get a full-size spare tire underneath. So the box sizes are going to be 5'2" which we have right here, the short box, or a 6'2". The extended cab comes standard with the 6'2" box. And before we open that up, we've got these corner step bumpers. So you've got this big, pretty wide step for your foot, and even a little section up here where you could use it as a handle to get into the bed of the truck. But back here, this is a remote locking tailgate. It is also a easy lift and lower, so it won't slam down. Now, just to give you a quick look back here, obviously you can get a liner, you know, from GMC or from somebody else, but in the back here, nothing special. You've got a tie down there, a tie down there. So essentially you've got one in each corner, and the wheel wells are not going to be as far apart as a full-size truck, but you still get the indentations to where you can create a shelf back here if you want to. And then you've just got a cab-mounted incandescent light up there. You can get LED box lighting, but that's only on the Denali trim level. If payload is a big priority, the payload here is 1,550 pounds as equipped. So if that's a big priority, probably bump up to the full-size truck. So check this out. You actually get a real physical key still. Now, let me know whether you like that or whether or not you want the push button start, but you got remote start on here and then just your regular buttons. But do you like having a real physical key or not? Then when we hop inside, let's take a look at these front seats. So first of all, you can get the AT4 with cloth or with leather, and we have the leather. You've got AT4 embossed in that seat headrest right there. These seats look nice. They have a nice pattern to them. Look at this right here, and you've got some leather here. They have a similar shape to the Sierra seats. They don't have big bolstering or anything like that. They're kind of flat seats in general, not maybe the most supportive, but they are power adjustable. a couple different ways. You have lumbar support here, which is good, your seat bottom, and then a manual reclining function. But I've been comfortable in here. There's just nothing fancy or nothing really over the top comfortable with these seats. And these seats are heated. You can get ventilated seats on the Denali, but not on here. And then the steering wheel is manual tilt and telescoping, leather wrapped and heated. Now, if you have mobility issues, just know, at least on the passenger side, there is a handle. There's no grab handle on this side for you to get in, but it's not quite as high as some trucks, so it's not too bad getting in. And with myself sitting in here at 5'9", you know, it does feel a little bit crowded, but it's really not too bad. A lot of people of different heights could fit in here okay. The headrest is not intrusive, which is great, and there's still plenty of headroom above me. Now, the back seat is useful for much more than just putting people back here. First of all, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can push a button to fold the headrest down, pull a little handle, and fold it down like this, so you've kind of got a semi-flat area to load or stack some stuff up. You can do this on either side with a 60-40 split, or you can fold that up, and there's a little handle over here where you can fold this up. So obviously there's not a ton of space, but you've got a hidden little area under here underneath those seats, which is really nice. And I love the fact that it's a 40-60 split, unlike the Ford Ranger, which last I saw, it was just one big folding bench. Now, before we hop in, on the door, you actually still get a soft armrest, plastic up there, just like you'd probably expect, little cubby and a couple little cubbies. So a little extra cubbies back here. And then sitting behind myself where I would normally sit, there's not a lot of space, but I mean, this isn't too bad for a smaller truck. And this is definitely better than some of the mid-size competitors. I'm happy to say that there are still USB charging ports and a 12-volt power outlet, plus a little knick-knack storage. You even get a center folding armrest with good sized cup holders. These are probably bigger than the cup holders up front. There are no air conditioning vents in the back. You'll have to rely on those ones up front. And then headroom is actually pretty good. With my hat on, I can sit up tall. There's a good indentation, so no problems with that. All right, let's go ahead and start it up. So this definitely isn't gonna win any awards for its interior, but it is still practical. And the GM beep is really loud. We're starting out right here. Like I said, this is a leather wrapped heated steering wheel. Heated button is right there. The entire steering wheel is heated. I like the design. I like the open area here. I like the little sport grips, and it's comfortable to hang on to. Over on the door, you do get some pretty cheap plastic up here, but you've got a soft armrest right there. Every window is automatic one touch down, but only the driver is one touch up. I like that there's a couple little random storage cubbies here and there. The bottle holder is pretty small, and my large bottle does not fit in there. Over here you got interior lights, you've got your outside lights right there, push it to activate your fog lights, and then this is actually one of my favorite things about the GM trucks is the automatic transfer case. So of course you can have it in 2 high, like usual, but if you move it to auto, it will automatically engage 4 high when needed, when it slips. So it's kind of like an all-wheel drive system to where you don't have to worry about shifting in and out, but really only use that in slippery situations. And you might be wondering, where's the locking differential button? Well, it locks on its own. It's automatic. Whenever there's even, I think, about 100 RPM difference between the 2 wheels, it will automatically engage. Now, most of you won't care, but for those of you that do, they included some soft material and some kind of stitching across the dash and the instrument panel, so it's not just a big hunk of cheap hard plastic in here, which is nice to see. You know, it's not necessary for a truck, but GMC just gave it the detail. You've got cruise control settings, heated steering wheel button over there. Now you do not have the adaptive cruise control. I'll talk about this in a little bit. And then all of this can control your information display right up above. Audio controls are on the back of each side of the steering wheel. Right in front of us, this is a pretty standard GM gauge setup. Smaller displays will be on other trim levels, but on this one, you've got quite a bit of available information, music, navigation, your phone, and then let me quickly scroll through all the different options that you can have on your home screen. Oil, tire pressure, your speed, a timer, battery, oil pressure. I mean, it's pretty cool, all the information you can see on here. And then moving over, the base Canyon will give you a 7-inch screen, but we get an 8-inch screen standard, but we have the optional navigation on here, which is about $1,000. As you can see, it comes with Apple CarPlay. It also comes with Android Auto. And I like the interface here for these GM products. I like that it's not slanted up and completely exposed to everything. So there's not a ton of glare on here, but it is responsive. It works well. You've got a couple of physical buttons, rubberized knobs down here as well. You can even use this one to control the screen. So you don't technically even have to touch the screen. For example, you can just push on that, scroll through different things on here. So that's pretty nice. I like that they do that. You even get 4G Wi-Fi, as you see that Wi-Fi hotspot right there, Sirius XM, and we have the 7-speaker Bose premium audio system in here. You get a little Bose badge up there and a tiny little storage cubby as well. We have single zone climate control here, easy to use buttons and knobs, little rubber liners on the knobs. No dual zone, which is a little bit surprising, but this cabin's not very big, so single zone is fine. Now let's put it in reverse. So you get a standard backup camera with dynamic guidance lines, but you can also get a hitch line, a hitch guidance line. So that will move as you turn the wheel to help you line up your hitch. Then down here you've got several kind of accessory buttons, traction control, your lane keeping system, which this is actually optional. It's not even a lane keeping system, it's just lane departure alert. So when you move out of your lane, it will beep at you. There's no lane keeping system or adaptive cruise control, advanced stuff like that. But forward collision warning, you know, if you're gonna run into something, it will warn you, is an optional feature, but no actual braking. So if you don't like all of that advanced driver assist stuff that comes on some of these vehicles, like for example Toyota, I know it's standard, it might be standard on Honda. With these GM trucks, you don't have to worry about that if you don't want it. Then over here you've got your tow haul mode, that'll help your transmission shifting. This is actually advanced downhill assist control to help you keep a slow speed going downhills, and then your cargo light right over there. Then down here you got a tiny little cubby, and we've got heated seats to where you can have the entire seat heated or just your back heated for you and your passenger. Then down here you've got a 12-volt power outlet, a couple USB ports, auxiliary port, and an SD card. The only thing I would change is make this a rubber liner, because I put my keys down there or a couple different things and they just slide around like crazy. And then I think most of you know how much I can't stand General Motors cup holders. They're tiny on like every model, and even this little rubber liner is kind of coming loose. So obviously you can take it out, you can snap it back in, but they're just really small cup holders. And then we actually get wireless charging, but my iPhone 7 Plus with a case does not fit in there. This isn't even that big of a phone compared to some of the new ones, and it just doesn't fit. Right here we've got this nice soft, actually pretty good size armrest. It does not slide forward, but I can have my armrest on there and reach the steering wheel. Got this stitching on there, lift that up, and it looks like you have a 12-volt power outlet, but you don't. It's just a really big, deep bin. And then the Canyon gives you just a regular glove box. I would really like to see this be a locking glove box, but it's not too bad of size. Then right there, there is an automatic dimming rear view mirror, regular incandescent lights, and a sunglass holder. And these visors can slide in and out quite a ways, so that's really nice. There is no moonroof up above, and the rear window is a manual slider, no automatic slider. Now under the hood for the AT4, you actually get to bypass the 4-cylinder engine. So you've got this direct injected V6 standard on here. This 3.6 liter V6 comes with 308 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque that comes out at 4,000 RPM. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic, unlike a 6-speed with some of the Canyon variants, and it is direct injected. Miles per gallon is not great, but not terrible either. 17 in the city, 24 on the highway with this 4-wheel drive model. But if you want more efficiency or even more towing power, you can go for a Duramax diesel engine. It's a 4-cylinder, and if you're gonna tow a lot, that early torque, well over 300 pound-feet of torque, could be very beneficial. But as equipped with this engine, towing is 7,000 pounds. All right, y'all, let's get going on this test drive. Start it right up. And in this test drive, I just want to give you an idea of what it's like to drive the Canyon. So We'll talk about ride comfort, we'll talk about handling, get on the throttles, check out this engine and transmission, see how smooth things are, and kind of give you a rundown of what it's like to daily drive this GMC Canyon. Now, my first impression, I've driven the Colorado before, the Chevy Colorado, a few times, and this is going to drive basically the same. You got the same fundamentals here, same mechanicals, but I've never driven the Canyon. But pretty much the same. I like the fact that you still have kind of a broad, you know, brawny hood up front. It doesn't just fall off. It's not a car-like hood. It's a hood that has a presence. And just getting on easy throttle there, this engine and transmission is responsive. So we have the 8-speed here. We've got over 300 horsepower, and when you're looking at the rest of the mid-sizers, this does really well in terms of its power numbers. Now, just kind of on a rolling throttle here, go ahead and punch it. Now, it took a little bit there. It took some time to think and kind of kick down. But smoothness of this transmission, I've heard varying things about this 8-speed. But in my time, the 8-speed has been quite good. It's been smooth, it's been mostly, you know, seamless shifts, except for when I'm slowing down and come to a stop. There can be some shifting, some clunking at that point, which is a little disappointing, but on the note of handling and the way the steering feels, I like General Motors' steering input, steering feel. I mean, it's not super lightweight, but it's not a heavy weighted steering either. It has a more dialed in feel than some. Like, I'm kind of thinking of the Tacoma, has a little bit more of a little bit of a spongier feel steering, I guess you could call it. I still like that, but this just feels a little more dialed in. We'll take some corners in just a little bit to get a feel for that. But ride comfort, this road looks smooth, but it actually has more bumps in it than you'd probably think. And just on like daily road imperfections driving in town, you of course feel all of that because we have a solid rear axle. We've got a ladder frame construction like a truck. So you feel things, but nothing has really been big, bad, or harsh. I mean, it's not an upsetting ride. It's actually a comfortable ride on a day-to-day basis. And coming to a stop, brakes, I'm happy with these brakes. These brakes do a good job. And the other thing is, when you get stopped, there's no automatic stop start, which is awesome. You know, you don't have to worry about pushing a button to turn it off, or you don't have to worry about your engine shutting off. You just don't have to worry about it because it's not in here. Now, as far as living with this truck, you know, ergonomics wise, I like the ergonomics in here. The steering wheel controls are easy, the screen is easily within reach, and you still have the actual buttons, physical buttons, rubber knobs. The armrest has been okay. It's all kind of cheap in some areas, but I mean, I've been comfortable in here for the most part. But let's go ahead and get pedal down. This truck is responsive. It's got some good get up and go. Obviously, it's not a V8, doesn't have that V8 sound, don't have that V8 power. And obviously this truck is not for handling purposes, but it holds its own. This actually handles quite well, and it has a good planted feel to the road. Now, going about 50, partial pedal. That was quicker to respond. Obviously, when you floor it, it takes a little longer to downshift, but this truck drives pretty nice for a truck. I mean, if you are coming from an older midsize or an older full-size truck, you're going to be happy with the way this drives for the most part. One thing to note is road noise, and there's really not a ton in here. There is some wind noise. At high speeds, you definitely get some wind noise coming in through the glass, kind of just the boxy frame, I'm sure doesn't make or doesn't help a ton with that. But there's no laminated glass here. This is just your regular glass. But my road noise decibel ratings were actually pretty good. There's not a lot of road noise that comes in, even on rough textured roads, so I'm happy to say that. It's not as quiet as the full size, but it is still not bad at all. Let's get one more pedal down. got a good sound for it for a V6. What do you guys think? And I apologize to you guys, I don't have any good area to really go off-roading right now, but I just want to get it on some gravel. It's always nice to get a feel for a truck, see if there's any rattle, some real shimmers in here, but this feels nice. It really does. It feels like it's at home right now. I mean, it's not too bumpy, nothing crazy on here obviously, but we have all-terrain tires as well, standard on this AT4. And I'm sure this could do okay. You've got the rear locker, you've got the downhill assist if you are going down some hills. Now, right up here, we're gonna just leave it in two-wheel drive. I'm gonna take off a little bit so you can kind of get an idea of how that locker works. As soon as one wheel starts to get a little bit more spin than the other one, they both kick in and it's automatically locked for you. And that did good. I had this on a former truck, and same with the auto track. Put it in auto mode, so it's gonna initially keep you in two-wheel drive, but it's ready to engage four-wheel drive. So right here you should notice a little bit of slip, and then it should kick in and we get all four wheels. And there was like no slip. I mean, it was just almost as if you're just in four-wheel drive. So that is nice to have. This truck feels good. It feels good out here. It's actually really compliant on that road. But let's go ahead and wrap things up on this AT4. Now, to wrap things up on this 2021 GMC Canyon AT4, I really love the fact that we have the AT4 branding on this Canyon now, and the little tweaks and off-road variants that you get with it, including this unique grille, the red tow hooks, the off-road tires and suspension. So that's all nice to see. Now, obviously, if you still need full-blown off-roading capability or towing and hauling capability, you're probably going to want to look elsewhere. The Sierra can definitely tow and haul quite a bit more, so if that's a daily thing or a regular thing, you're going to want to look at that. Space still really isn't too bad in this truck, but again, look for the Sierra if you need more space. But what do y'all think of this mid-sizer GMC Canyon AT4? Leave your comments down below, subscribe for weekly reviews, and have a great day.